What you just witnessed was the death of a black hole. The murderer was Hawking radiation. It's hard to explain Hawking radiation with an already evaporated black hole, but luckily I have access to the biggest one in the entire galaxy, my mouth. Like an actual black hole, my mouth is a single point in space that's infinitely dense and exerts such a strong gravitational force on surrounding particles that after a certain point called the event horizon, which is defined by something called the Schwarzschild radius, the particles cannot escape from it, not even light. Hence the darkness named black hole. Anything right outside the event horizon or between has a chance of escaping, but anything inside is doomed forever. As things fall into the event horizon, my mass gets bigger and the Schwarzschild radius increases. To understand how a black hole could decrease in size, we have to clear out all the particles and create empty space. Seems empty, right? Well, no, not really. If we take a closer look at the table, we can see that there are particles that are constantly being created and destroyed. This is because for something to be empty, there should be no particles in that field, and hence the energy and rate of change through time of that field is zero. But those values don't satisfy the uncertainty principle that implies that there's always some fluctuation in the field. These fluctuations give rise to virtual particles, and they're not really particles, but instead unnatural disturbances in particle fields that are normally undetectable. You can think of a particle field like this box of rice. There's only one particle that sits on the spike, but another field can disturb this one and form a new spike. However, it also creates an anti-spike where an antiparticle sits. Because of those disturbances, virtual particles and antiparticles continually get created and seek to annihilate each other. And for those of you who are asking, how can particles be randomly created or destroyed? Doesn't that violate some kind of, law of conservation of energy? Nothing is really being created or destroyed here. One virtual particle has positive energy and the other has negative energy, which cancel each other out. In the empty space right outside the event horizon, these pairs are also being created. Here, the virtual particle that has negative energy doesn't have any chance to escape the black hole. The other one can escape because it has positive energy and can even turn into a real particle by taking some of the black hole's energy. A faraway observer would see that the black hole radiated a particle and lost some mass, because from the equation E equals mc squared, we know that a loss in energy is the same thing as a loss in mass. Everything that has a temperature radiates, some just slower than others. And everything that radiates has a temperature. The more the radiation, the higher the temperature, and the less, the lower. Since black holes radiate, they also have a temperature which is determined by this equation. This shows that the smaller they get, the hotter they get, and the more they radiate. But from E equals mc squared, we learn that the more they radiate, the smaller they get. So a loop forms in which the black hole is radiating particles, losing mass, getting hotter, and radiating even more particles. This process continues until the black hole is completely evaporated. But don't hold your breath. Black holes normally take in a lot more than they lose, but it'll still take them trillions of years to die out, and we won't be around to see that happen.